All right, everybody. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day today. Hey, Nepa. Hey, Carla. How are you guys? Glad you could make it today. I had some errands to run earlier, so the stream is a little bit later, so I do apologize for that. But no worries, we are about to get started here. It is snowing like crazy here, so that's fun times. Let me actually go ahead and get started here just because I'm excited. I want to get going. So, basically, what we did last time is we did a character reference sheet for August here, which is one of the MCs from my Webtoon, Born and Raised. This is the older brother, August. Not super big on this font here, but you know what? It's still functional for what it for the purpose. So now what I'm doing is I'm doing one of the younger brother Val here, and we gotta. I've got like a basic idea up here in the corner that I came up with not too long ago, which I kind of like, but I'm gonna play with it just a little bit while we do this. Trying to make a fairly simple design for these webtoon characters because I'm going to be drawing them a lot, but still like showcase like their functions and whatnot. August here is very much like he's a gunslinger and a brawler. They both have magic and they both use their magic in different ways. So I want to make sure that oh yeah, hey, they both get into trouble. That's like their job essentially. they are they're pretty much kind of like scouts or like couriers for the place that they live in the Texas wasteland. There is, of course, it's post-apocalyptic, so there's like zombies and other magical creatures that they have to deal with. So they basically go out, they find like supplies or things that people need in their little shelter called Oasis. So that's pretty much their job is to get into trouble. so, um, but yeah, Val is more of he has more of like a different type of magic, and his weapon is like he has a couple weapons, but one of them is like a bat that he uses. So we're gonna design that. So he's more of like a caster type than August, who's like. So, anyways, I started blasting and kicking people in the chest and headbutting and all that stuff. So trying to have like their designs like reflect, you know, what they do. So I started off with this little bodysuit here underneath of like Val's outfit here. And one of the iconic things, of course, with Val is he has these giant. Uh, nice. Yeah, I have a feeling a lot of people are gonna like identify with one brother or the other, or some of the other awesome characters we have in the webtoon. But Val is the one that actually drives their motorcycle that they ride around on. So he has these goggles that have like built-in like GPS and all sorts of like instruments to find things. So that's like a major part of his design there. But yeah, I mean, I think I like this design for the most part. I just got to figure out if I need to make any sort of like adjustments or anything to it. So we're just going to start building on top of this. And then once I'm done with the front view, I will do a back view. And then I'll do the color palette in the middle like I did again in case anybody wants to do any like fan art. And so I can keep things consistent. And then I'm going to have a little portrait shot here in the actual like webtoon style. So the webtoon style is going to look like this over here in the corner. More of like a simplified, uh, despite all of my instincts, simplified version of my rendering. So I always just want to go fucking ham on everything, and I can't do that for a comic. So I think the first thing I'm going to start with is he has a handkerchief here that he has tied around his neck so he can put it up over his face, when they're driving, or if there's like, a lot of like contagion or something like that. Oh yeah, it's hellaciously hard to resist, especially for me, because like I am all about like doing some like wild rendering. So a wild Anarchy has appeared as far as like rendering goes. So yeah, the Webtoon struggle is real. So we're just gonna kind of like block out the shape of like a handkerchief kind of thing. And then what I'm going to do is I will then take my brush and do like some actual like detail on it. And I'm going to do this over the lines here. And then I can manipulate like these shapes if I need to. Maybe like kind of block it off in a couple areas. Maybe take the neck part of it down just a little bit here so we can see that he is wearing the bodysuit underneath, so we don't miss any detail or anything. Yeah, throw a master ball at it, 100%. And to keep everything consistent here, I've got a texture layer I'm putting over top of everything. Let's do that. And now we can do the line work on it. Again, try not to be too crazy with the details. It's like the hardest thing for me. Sometimes it's just easier to do like the shapes, like the general shapes with the lasso tool, and then go in and like do like the detailing with like the line work. And then I can always adjust like the shapes and things like that. So make sure that all of this looks like it's like folded over itself in different parts. Yeah, I'll probably adjust the colors underneath to make some of the to kind of match up with the line work that I'm doing here. And I'm kind of winging this. I don't have a reference for this. I probably should. But, as long as it looks like what it's supposed to, it's fine. As long as it reads as like a handkerchief kind of thing around his neck here, then we'll be alright. Oops, wrong layer. Then I can just kind of erase away where it's like overlapped. Oops, I didn't finish the lines over there. I didn't finish the lines there either. Alright, so kind of fill in some of these spots. Because usually, like with the characters, what I do is I do the line work and then I select the outside of the line work and I invert that selection to then make like a silhouette of the entire thing. But since we're figuring out costumes and clothes, doesn't always work quite the same way. It can still work that way, but Not everything is going to be perfect, which is fine. I'm also not going for like, perfect line work or anything on this because it's really just a reference to make sure that I draw it consistently. Since I'm going to be drawing these characters a lot, I need to just make sure that visually they just don't suddenly look like completely different characters. So you might see my model like move all over the place. It's because I have a very large tablet, so I'm going to be like shifting around here. I'm standing up, so. And I kind of like with my line work, I just kind of thicken places where like the lines connect a little bit. Gives it a little bit of like a more 3D feel to it. Actually, I kind of want to just imply that area. It doesn't necessarily need to be a full on line there. And then we're going to have where it's going around the back. And I'm going to have to cut a little bit out here so you can still see his hair. So let's do this and that. And then we can have where it goes around the back there. And we can fix this. Yeah, I'm actually, I wasn't very good at this aspect of it, but I've been watching tons and tons and tons of character design, like tutorials and videos and tips on YouTube, which is how I learn absolutely everything I do. Like art wise, I just, if I want to figure something out, I search it on YouTube and I generally can find what I'm looking for. So that's how I taught myself digital art. Because I had no idea what I was doing when I started. Like, especially all, like, what the tools do and, like, all that kind of stuff, so. The dog that doesn't wear clothes. Hey, you did a good job with that commission that you did, though, with the ferret. I thought that looked awesome. I think you did a really good job with the outfit. Alright, a little trick that I do with my line work as well is I duplicate the layer, set it blending mode to multiply, and then I give it a Gaussian blur, usually of like 10. So it kind of cleans up the lines, even if they're kind of like a little sketchy, like it's okay. So what I need to do is I need to erase away where I've got his hair overlapping here, because this does come in front of the bandana here. And let me do that on the lines as well. And then I can make adjustments to make sure it all looks cohesive again. That. And then I'm just gonna add some line back in here. And right here and there. Oops, that part didn't get. You know what, that part can be behind it, it's okay. We just want to make sure that everything like sits in the planes that it's supposed to. Gonna make sure I save a bunch. Alright, so we got that. I know for sure I want the goggles. I've already actually designed his hair around where the goggles should sit. So Let me see if I can find. There we go. That was like a placeholder. So I'm going to turn it the other way. So you should also flip your character like as often as possible. I need to put this in a folder here. Stay organized. So this is handkerchief. And let's put this in a folder inside of it. So it says lines. And then the colors. Otherwise, you'll be like going through all your layers like, what the hell are these? And you'll have to turn them on and off to figure it out. And it's a huge pain in the ass. So do yourself a favor and use folders and colors if you have the ability to in your program. So most programs do these days, so shouldn't be too bad. All right. So I originally had these where the whole front part was connected, but I don't know if I want to do that. Turn down the opacity even more. There we go. I don't know, I could try it either way, see how it looks. The original design had it so like it went like this, where it has like a place for like the nose. So let's try that first, see how it looks, and then we'll go from there. I think the reason why I wanted to change it because it would made it kind of like difficult to think about from like different angles and stuff, but I'm a lot better artist now than I used to be, so I will never name my layers, then complain about unnamed layers. Nah, never. I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm going to leave a spot here for this little strand of hair because it's going to come over top of the goggles here. And then I had a little thing here to separate. Right there. And then got to bring kind of like where the goggles will set in, and because it's at an angle, this part of the goggle is gonna like stick out a little bit. And then we're gonna put like we're gonna do like a nose bridge area here so it's nice and comfy for them. And it's okay to put a little bit of detail like on like the face part of it, like an OC, because you're going to be seeing their faces a lot, so that's where you want most of the detail to be centered. You just gotta like not go too crazy, of course, because it's a webtoon. You know, it's really up to you how much you want to draw every single time. Actually, it looks fine. It looks fine where it's not connected in the center there. Oh, like VR. Yeah, Havoc is the writer here. My beautiful wife is the writer. She came up with all these OCs, and I'm just the drawy boy. So doing my best to translate her ideas and vision into visuals. So yeah, they weren't supposed to be quite as handsome as they ended up, but I figured when we get to the Murdochs there, I can have some fun with some not so handsome characters. I mean, yeah, like I know what I'm doing. I'm like, people are gonna love these characters. They're gonna be like, oh my god, this character. And I originally had him have like some like controls on the side of it here, but I think that's a little bit too much detail, so I'm not gonna worry about it. Just gonna put like a strap around his head here. Trying to kind of like do like that, so it's like semi tight on his head, but not too tight that he's like having a bad time. Little adjustment area right there. And some tension. Alright, and then what we can do is we can turn this off. I think that looks pretty good. Let me just erase away where I don't need the lines here. For this little piece of hair also goes over top. And anywhere where it's kind of like a little bit messy. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So let's go ahead and do the line work trick. And let's make a folder for these. Do goggles. And do a folder inside the folder. We're going to do folderception. Lines. And I promise, like, eventually here I'm going to be doing some streams that have to do with, like, how I use all my techniques, like how I render and, some tips and all that good stuff. So you guys won't be completely in the dark. Duplicate this. I mean, I kind of talk about it already, like, as I do these, but, like, I need to do like more instructional ones because you guys said you would be interested in that. So add some more value to come into my stream so you can actually, learn something rather than just like stare at something, not know what's going on. All right, let's see here. So I've been learning from, like I said, the YouTube videos. So I've been trying my best to, deal with values here a little bit better. So making things like less saturated, unless it's like a really like an area of interest. So we're gonna erase away where the hair is. Like that. Oops, his hair didn't get filled in all the way there, so I'll have to fix that. I kind of did this part of it like pretty quickly last night because I know sometimes like that part of it is a little tedious to watch. Top here. Oh yeah, I definitely want to see like fan art, fanfics. Like that's like the greatest thing you can do for like an artist or a writer in their series is to make fan versions and all that kind of stuff. So I'm super excited to see all that. Like I'm gonna print it all off, and then when I have an actual like house of my own, I'm gonna have them all up on like a big wall. Oops, that's not the right layer. I was wondering why it wasn't erasing. There we go. See, I still do things on round layers even without having them labeled, so I gotta catch myself. Alright, so we got that. That's the visor color. I think I'm gonna keep the palette pretty simple. So we're gonna use the same color as his bodysuit. I just gotta find it. There we go. That way I don't have to go through and like pick like all these different colors when I go to color it. So keep it simple. Yeah, the smut. So we're gonna. Oops. I forgot that all the lines aren't connected right now, but that's okay. I can do some of this manually. I'm gonna have some glowy parts on it because it's okay to have that on like the face area because that's gonna be, you know, where we want the colors to really pop. Try to keep doing this all on one layer too, so I don't have like a massive amount of layers to deal with. Probably should have just used my lasso tool. That's okay. You know, this takes place in the future as well, so there's a lot of like technology. Like even in the like, you know, the wastelands, there's still like plenty of things that are technologically more advanced than we currently are. And with the brothers, a lot of their tech also like interacts with like their magic, helps them like regulate it. So Val here is not the greatest at controlling his magic, so he's also not allowed to have guns, which will be part of the story later on. Yeah, kind of like Trigun a little bit, where like there's like the space technology, but like there's still more of like there's gonna be a lot of like different like cultures and different people, of course, in the different towns of like their survivors. So you're gonna have like different levels of technology and ways of life. You know how they've coped with the you know essentially the apocalypse, pretty much. Fairly lawless, basically. A lot of, you know, doing what you can to survive, so. Alright, that looks pretty good. I got some greenish colors over here on this reference, so I'm going to use that on his goggles here. These will be like really saturated, so they'll bring the point of interest to the face up here. Like, just using the different levels of saturation is such like a cool way to like draw the eye around to where you want it. Like, as we get to like, say, like down here with like the feet and legs, there's going to be less detail and less saturation. So yeah, no magic guns for Val. Only August. Alright, cool. So we got his goggles. I think that looks pretty good. I think I did a good job with the hair, looking like it's like pushed back and pushed up because of the goggles. And then we got some strands that come over the top here, so. Alright, let's flip it back this way, make sure it still looks good. And it does. Hell yeah. Alright, so we got that. So it needs kind of like a... I have him kind of with like an undershirt underneath this little jacket here. So let's see if we can figure that out. I gotta try to make him have some like asymmetry. So we're gonna play around with some shapes for this. So it's gonna be over the handkerchief. Let me make a layer, and we're gonna duplicate this. I really love like adding like the texture now over everything. I think it looks nice. It gives it kind of like the retro look a little bit, because I'd use chromatic aberration as well on it, so it looks cool. Got to color code everything here. I have kind of like this light grayish blue, because I was kind of thinking like a little idea I had to keep them like being like distinct characters. It was like August would wear more red and Val would wear more blue. Kind of like player one, player two kind of thing. So we could probably do some asymmetry with this shirt here. So we can start like blocking off the colors. I wanted it to be a bit longer because he does have like a little vest kind of thing over it with a hood. And I like the idea of having like big bulky like shoulder kind of area here, because his brother kind of has like things going on with that too. So since they're siblings, you want to kind of have them like have a bit of a similar look while still like, you know, keeping the things that make them unique. And again, I'm trying to keep his outfit like he's a, you know, more of a magic type character, more of a caster. So I'm trying to keep that in mind. You know, like lighter clothing, a little more like flowy. Yeah, oh my god, live action does not do very good at like visually separating characters from each other, making them distinct. You're absolutely right. You're like, this guy looks exactly like this other guy. I hate it when they also try to like, I don't know, they do like this weird thing where they quote unquote try to modernize things, like outfits, and it makes them just look so boring. Maybe we can have this color come out and out a little bit more. Maybe not so much that way, but maybe this way. Again, we're trying to have some asymmetry here, so. And I need to cut it out a little bit. Actually, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make this easier on ourselves here. We're going to delete this. And then this one, I'll make a separate layer for the other side of the clothes underneath the handkerchief so I don't have to cut it out. Because that's a pain in the ass. And I'm trying to avoid anything that's like annoying to do, so. So we can take this and we can have it underneath the handkerchief. I mean, yeah, like you can get like super like you can go like a little bit too far with like the Sentai thing with like Power Rangers where it's like or like say like Ninja Turtles or something like that where the color coding is a little extreme. Let's have this color maybe come out more like this. And then kind of have it. I gotta play with it here. So I can also duplicate this as well so we can get the back of the collar and put it behind everything. So we can kind of connect the collar back here. And in the process, I can do like the back of the shirt here. It's actually probably going to swing out a little bit, so something like that. We'll do this as rear undershirt. Man, I haven't dyed my hair in so long. Old man Aniki here is almost full gray. But that's okay. I'll survive. Thanks. My wife is not biased at all as far as that. Oh wait, did I... Is it the back that's like kind of sticking out like that? I wanted to have my hair be has some silver, and then I was gonna keep like my natural like black color for like my undercut, but it's really difficult to achieve that without like going to a professional. So all right, and then have that. If I can get it to work. Let's take this and we're going to cut it a little bit. And then we'll go to the back here. And then we'll go back back to this, and we'll do over here. Might bring these shoulders in just a little bit. They're kind of big. It's a little too 90s. That's a little bit better. Now they're a little more structured a little bit better there. Make sure that this kind of looks like it's going around here. Whoops. I'm going to put a fold over top of this, but I want to make sure that I have the structure that I'm thinking here. Yeah, he's pretty thin. He does a lot of flailing too. Like, he's not helpless by any means, but he's not like as gung-ho as his brother. His brother is the best defense is offense, so yeah. Then he's like, oh. Alright, so we got the base for that. Let me put some lines on it now. It's top hair, rear undershirt, undershirt 2. This is the handkerchief, so I can collapse that. Alright, let's put some lines on this. And put it in a folder. Oh, if I can spell. Yeah, they don't have infinite magic, that's for sure. There's definitely a limit. Otherwise they would be like way too OP. I mean, there's definitely a reason they send them out to go get stuff, but they definitely get themselves into situations too. Especially if you have any siblings, you can probably guess how some of those situations come into come to be. Maybe that comes to like here. It's like a little thing that kind of goes like that. Try not to make it flare out too much because it is going to have like a vest that goes over it. Yeah, they do different type of jobs. Like, everybody's important. You're not going to have a single character in this webtoon that doesn't have some sort of, role. Like, I hate it when people make characters or they make unique characters and then they do nothing with them. Like, they have no effect on the outcome of the story or anything. They're just like fodder. Like, that drives me nuts. I think that's why I like One Piece so much, is because there's so many unique characters and they all have some sort of like role that they play in the story, even like thousands of chapters later. I mean, there will be a couple like faceless like NPCs that are just kind of like to, fill up the background, but so we need to make sure that we have like a separation here. This little part kind of might need to change the shape of that. I don't like that. Let's bring it in like this. Will make more sense. Oops. That way we also get a little bit of room for where the vest and the hood will go. So we can bring that line in like that. In fact, we can probably bring this line out a little bit more this way. Just so it has a little bit more space for the vest slash hood part to rest on. Try my best to think about like the functionality of the outfit too, and like where seams and whatnot would be. I've been trying to get better about that because I used to just make designs and be like, well, this is this way just because I said so. It doesn't need to make sense, right? But again, we're limiting the amount of detail as you go lower. Put some little bit of folds in the clothing, just a little bit. Rule of cool overall. Yeah. Yeah, it's like playing Monster Hunter. It's like if you're not hunting like looking like a badass, then why are you hunting at all? It's not at all why I play the game, right? So also when you're designing like a character's outfit, you have to keep in mind the level of civilization, as I was talking about earlier. So it's a little bit, the technology is a little bit higher, and it's a little bit in the future, so the uh, outfits should reflect that. They don't have to be 100% full of like gadgets or anything, but just something to imply that it's a different time period than, you know, has something to do with like reflecting the state of the world. Yeah, state of their world at least. Like I said, they come across like other survivors that are in different situations and have different cultures and the way that they approach the the apocalypse essentially that has happened. So yeah, yeah, exactly. There's a lot of really cool characters and cultures that Havoc has come up with that I am super excited to get to because I get to draw such a variety of like types of characters. So that's actually how we met. Was a mutual friend of ours, introduced us because I was an artist and she was a writer and she was looking for an artist. So and I read it and I was like, this is amazing. I want to work on this. I'd have been approached by so many writers before that just handed me generic garbage, and then they were not flexible enough to, like, I would try to be like, hey, maybe we could, do this kind of thing to like make it more like interesting, but they were just so rigid and so stiff about it. I was like, I can't work with you. I'm sorry. It's like if you're gonna work with somebody on a project, you need to be able to collaborate, not just, this is what you're gonna do because I said so. But like her writing was so like easy to visualize, the world. I was like, this forever. And then we both loved anime, and we both loved like Studio Trigger and like ridiculous things, so it was like, this is perfect. Let's put like a seam kind of going down the arm a little bit here. Yep, I agree. Let's see, I think I had this as the start of a flap here because we're good character design is not 100% symmetrical. You want to think of ways to break up the symmetry the best you can. It also helps you create better silhouettes. So if somebody like takes your character, fills it all in black, and they could still tell that it's that specific character from the silhouette, then you've done your job. That's how you get iconic character design. Ooh, good call. Let me go ahead and save two. And I'll stretch since I'm standing up. Ugh. I gotta adjust my little mat that I'm standing on anyway. If you guys have the ability to get like a standing desk, I really recommend it. It saves me like so much grief like doing art. I'm gonna actually bring this part in, I think. Bring it back to like here. I think that makes a little bit more sense. Oh yeah, totally worth it. They're so nice. Oops. Have that be curved a little bit more. Make sure it doesn't. No, give me the eraser. eraser. Like, I love my tablet, but sometimes, like, I'll go to, like, click on it, and it's like, nah. I don't know about this right here. Maybe if I make that kind of overlap that a little bit. That looks a little bit better. Try not to overdo the details. And we can actually bring that in just a little bit. So it's like got like more of a curve to it. Not quite as stiff. Is this not the right layer? Which layer is this? Is it this? What the heck, man? Oh, that's on a different layer. What layer is that on? There's that. No, it is that layer. Oh. Oh, wait. No? Still not doing it. The heck? I'm so confused. Turn that off. Did I still mess up on my layers here? Oh, it's on the... Some of this is on the handkerchief layer somehow. Ah. I don't know how that happened. Must have clicked something wrong. There we go. There we go. That's better. I can turn that back on. And then this layer. There we go. It's also like really warm in the house right now, so my concentration is like, I get really distracted when I'm hot. I know, the window's open, there's snow outside, it's still hot as hell in here. It's crazy. There we go. That looks way better. Is this still handkerchief? Yep. That's okay. I can work with this, even if stuff is on the wrong layer. We have the technology. We can deal with it. I'll just have to do some messing around here with layers. There we go. Getting there. This line's a little beefier than I would like. It's a little bit better. Again, I'm trying not to harp over like the little things, but it doesn't mean I won't. Alright, let's make sure it's got like some pockets here. Just like real simple representation of pockets. I might have to change the shape when I go to do the vest part of it. And if you guys want to like watch the VOD for this later and, you know, kind of like analyze things and, you know, take what you can from it, like go for it. Like I want you guys to be able to have an easier time creating your characters as well. Like if this is useful, then I'm super happy. Like I said, I will do like a more like informative stream eventually. But for now. But yeah, also for frame of reference to save some time, I use these 3D models in Clip to do like the poses and get an idea of like the anatomy and all that kind of stuff. So that saves me a lot of time. I use them a lot in the Webtoon as well. That's how I set up my panels, so I can get like really like dynamic, cool shots and everything that, you know, my current understanding of like perspective and whatnot is lacking. So there's nothing wrong with using a tool like to assist you, especially if you have a vision that you can't quite you know, get out there, as long as you're not like drawing like one for one over top of him. You know, try to change it up a little bit. All right, this arm is in front here, so I'm gonna erase away there. Oh yeah, especially since you're also doing a webtoon. Yeah, save time. That is your best friend. Yeah, simplifying and using tools that can assist you with saving time is the way to go. Yes, they do. They definitely do. Professionals use them all the time. I mean, look at UFO table. A lot of that is done with digital instruments, including 3D. I mean, there's nothing wrong with like sketching it all out manually. Like you are building those the skills and the you know the muscle memory and all that good stuff. So it's not like it's a waste of time, but you know, if you're trying to work on like a big project like I am with this one, like, you know, having the assist is worth it. And you got to think about it too, like those same people that are giving you shit about how you do things are not putting out a project. So think of it that way, that they're literally just talking to talk and they have nothing to show for it. So basically fuck them. Which layer is this on? It's driving me nuts. Is it on the rear layer? It is. Aha. Aha ha ha. There we go. Yeah, they have no idea what they're talking about. They're just insecure and jealous that you are creating something and they are sitting around doing nothing. Most of the time, they're not even artists, so definitely fuck them. There's a big difference between constructive criticism and then just being an asshole. So, like, I appreciate constructive criticism, especially if I've, like, asked for it. But if somebody's giving you, like, unsolicited, like, criticism, and it's not any type of positive, then they're not worth your time. You could just disregard them. Yep. They weren't creative enough to figure out how to utilize tools to achieve their goals, so that's their problem. Especially, like the AI bros and shit. Those are the worst offenders. Like, you didn't even actually draw anything, so you can shut the fuck up. Alright, let's put another pocket on this side. I must be behind. No? What the hell is it? There we go. Give me a second to find that. Make sure I save. Oh my god, I can't draw this curve. Maybe I need to zoom in more. There we go. I love the fact that I can change the surface area that I'm going across, like, digitally. That helps so much. It's like, oh man, I can't get this curve or I can't get this line. So you either zoom in or you zoom out, and then it'll give you like a whole nother like range of motion to deal with. You want to do your best not to use your wrist as much as possible. Use like your elbow or your shoulder, like do big sweeping motions, like, you know, that way you get line confidence. Because otherwise, if you do it the other way, you get like the shaky lines. If you're just trying to go through and do, say like a long line like this, you just like whip it down until you get the one that lines up the way you want, and then you can go in and clean it up if you need to. Instead of like, say, doing like something like this is where you end up with like shaky lines. Draw through your lines and then like erase away parts of it if you need to. Yes, 100% saves you for carpal tunnel. Like I still even like injure myself because of I have injuries from where I worked out and did not give myself like enough of a break. So I still injure myself every now and then doing artwork. So make sure you take lots of breaks too. Like anything you're doing physically to preserve your your body. All right, he needs some pants. So that's probably what I'll do next here. So that looks good. Go ahead and make sure I'm saving a lot. And I'm going to turn down the opacity on these. Oops, I forgot to do my lines here. So let's do duplicate, multiply, and we're going to blur them. And you can clean that up more if you want to by like selecting, say, like the outside, so you just have the blur on the inside of the line. But I like the way it looks, so I just leave it. It's just my personal preference there. Okay, so I think that was all the lines actually. Yeah. Alright, we're gonna bring down the opacity on the stuff so I can still see to do where his pants are. Alright, and I have these kind of like a little bit loose, a little bit stretchy, kind of like, I don't know, like, so he can move a lot because he's gonna need to move. So I'm gonna have these be kind of like this dark color here. And we're actually gonna bring that into the blues here because I want to keep him with a lot of blues. And this is gonna go over, it's gonna go under the undershirt and over the bodysuit. So let's see. That's undershirt, body lines. So it needs to be on this layer here. And again, we're gonna put that on it. Make a folder here. Yo, Cheetah Man, what's up, dude? Bring in the hype. My computer's gonna explode. Oh no, you don't want that. That's scary. Alright, so I kind of want his pants to kind of just come to like here. We're just going to use some shapes, and then it's going to have like a really low point here for the crotch. Might even bring these. I'm gonna have to adjust that. So let's take this off. And we're going to bring that in a little bit. Got some common ground there. All right, and it's stretched over the knee. And because it's bent like that, there's going to be some stretch like right there. Ooh, I got some of these lines I got to get rid of. That's okay. And his boots are going to come up like higher up here, so when we get to that. Doing all right. It's like snowing here. I'm sweating my balls off in my room anyway. You know what? I'm going to turn off the shirt part real quick. I think that'll help me visualize a little bit better. So let's turn that stuff off. And the handkerchief off. There we go. Now I can concentrate on the pants part. That is true. Let me flip it this way. Might need a little bit. Come out this way a little bit. Kind of thinking some almost kind of tech wear kind of pants a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks okay. But yeah, to catch you up here, Cheetah Man, we did a reference sheet for one of my main OCs for my Webtoon. This is the older brother August here. So I finished that up, so now I have like a sheet that I can have like consistent visuals. I got all the colors here. You know, if people want to do fan art, they could use this. So now I'm working on the younger brother Val here. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I had just been drawing them like off the cuff. So I needed to not only update them, but, you know, with my new like skill set and everything. Like I've learned a lot more about character design since then, so just working on implementing that. We're not going to put too much detail here in the pants either, because we want less detail as we go farther away from the point of interest. So, which would be like, you know, the upper body. Ooh, nice. Hell yeah. I'm excited. I love watching your little animations. They're so damn cool, man. We're just gonna like imply some details here. Let's see. Your breakfast, you had air fried sweet potato. Ooh. Vanilla Greek yogurt, some roasted oats with nutmeg and cinnamon. Oh, wow. You had a super healthy breakfast. That's awesome. Definitely not a standard American breakfast, that's for sure. I just had a bowl of oatmeal. That's all I did. I usually fuel up after stream. I do like lunch. You thought you were being big bag? No, man. Sweet potato's not bad for you at all, and you air fried it, so it's not like it was in like a bunch of oil. That's really funny that you use the big bag thing because we have some friends that refer that way. It's pretty funny. Nah, you're good, man. That's good. That is way more healthy than most people eat breakfast. So it's really difficult to eat healthy too, especially like in America now. Like everything is so expensive, and there's a lot of things that are just not available uh, for health, especially like breakfast kind of stuff. So I think you're doing a good job. You get an A+ breakfast from me. And again, I'm just like totally freeballing how these pants look. Just trying to think of like gravity and the way this material might like react to it. Probably would have been better to use a reference for this, but for the sake of time here, you don't have to share them. Yeah, I feel that. When I was probably in my early 20s, my grandmother used to send me these giant cheeseburger patty or burger patties from it was this like frozen truck called like the Swans Man or Schwan's Man or something like that. And they were like super like juicy and delicious. They were like really really good. So I used to eat a lot of cheeseburgers when I was younger. I try to avoid beef as much as I can now that I've gotten older. Like, one, my body doesn't like it, and two, like, too much red meat is just, your body can't really digest it, so. You know what makes cheeseburgers, like, really good? I was talking to Alex's wife about this on stream yesterday. If you chop up some fresh poblano peppers and put it into the meat, it's like this really, really nice, like, smoky, like, kind of flavor, and it's so goddamn good. Trying to keep in mind these, like, tension points, like where the knee is here. No, it's not spicy. It's just smoky. Like, if you, it's like the same if you actually have like fresh jalapenos. Like, they're not really spicy. They're just like delicious. Like, the spicy part is if you keep the seeds in them. So if you remove the seeds, then they're not as spicy. They're just like crisp, and they are really like flavorful. It's like really nice. Nice. I think that looks pretty good. Oh yeah, it makes it really, really tasty. I mean, putting like a little bit of barbecue sauce like in the meat too when you're like making it can also give you a little bit more of like that smoky sweet. You don't have to go overboard with it though. You just put a little bit. Oops, that was the wrong layer. Oops. No, let me. Why? Oh, it's on an eraser. I was like, what is happening? I learned all sorts of tasty tricks from Havoc. So really, I'm taking the credit for her recipes right now. So it's all Havoc. She's multi-talented. I'm just a dude. But now I have like that knowledge, so now I can make stuff, and it's not like straight up like single guy meals because I'm married now. So if you're still making single guy meals when you're married, then you gotta do something about that. You gotta step your game up. Ooh, good call. Go ahead and save. Let me get some water. Yeah, mesquite chips are delicious. Yeah, I like barbecue flavored chips the best personally. I try to buy ones that are like baked versus fried. Oh, that's outside the lines. Color in the lines, Aniki. We learned this when we were children's. Even though in art you technically don't have to. You could just be like, that's how I do things, bro. I'm a genius. I'm an innovator. Alright, let me just clean these lines up just a little bit. Make sure I got it all filled in. I got a lot of grays here, so having a hard time telling the difference. Oh, nice. Get something tasty. Do it for me. I will live through you vicariously. It is snowing here, so I think Havoc and I are going to make some grilled cheese with some soup. Not the most healthy thing, but you know what? It's cold outside, and it's a great thing to eat when it's cold. You can have child meals as an adult. It's fine. Just as long as that's not your usual diet. What was it? Meat Canyon was making a joke about something about like his body finally succumbed to the pizza rolls and whiskey. I was like, oh my god. uh, I mean, it can be like so. I don't know. When I was younger, I used to have like a lot of like Campbell's tomato soup because that's all my damn parents like bought. So I would make grilled cheese and dip my grilled cheese in the tomato soup. I don't know if it's really a child meal. I just kind of associated that with like things I used to eat when I was a kid. I could just be talking shit. I don't know. And not realize it. My bad. There's a lot of times when I realized that my childhood was very different from other people's. Like, I did not understand flavors, like, at all until I met Havoc. Oh, I bet. Do you like it there, though? We're on the East Coast. Yeah, I get really upset now when people make me food and there's like zero like spices on it. I'm like, what? How white are you? Do you also have boomer parents? Are you a boomer in disguise? Especially when somebody like makes something like ultra well done. I'm like, what have you done? What kind of war crime have you committed? Alright, hell yeah. He's got some pants. Let's turn all this stuff back on. And let me get rid of some of these lines because they are over top of the pants now. Oops, that is not what I wanted. And let's get this. Deselect and then that. And then I'm going to turn the rear shirt back on. There we go. Looking pretty good so far. Ooh, Korean barbecue. Oh, I'm sure there's like a ton of good like Hispanic food there. Occasionally we run into like a nugget of good like Spanish food, but not as often as I would like. Oh, with rare steak, nice. I like it a little bit more cooked than rare, but like it's definitely got to still have pink. It's still got to have flavor. All right, now we can do the little vest over the top and the uh, hood. So let's see. Let's do over this layer, and we're actually gonna make it the same color as the pants. Again, I want to keep the color scheme very similar. What is this? That's that. Where's my pants? There's the pants. You know, I don't want to vary the colors up too much, because then it'll be a pain in the ass when I do rendering. Let's do hooded vest. Oh yeah, yeah, it's super neat. I love Korean barbecue. It's so good. It's definitely a very cool experience as well, like you said. Let's see. How am I going to do this? Just realized I didn't leave myself a lot of room here, but that's okay. So I do this, and we're going to have some straps here. And we're going to have some room for the arm to come through. And I did originally have the vest come a little bit over the arm spot here, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time. Give it kind of some room to come through, and I'll do another layer behind it for the rear part of the vest. So and do here, because this part's going to be sticking out. That. And then we'll have it kind of also come out a little bit down here. That. Just kind of want to break up this like bluish gray. And then I wanted a really big like poofy hood. So we have some cool like shape language here. That'll be one part of it. I'm trying to figure out. I might have to put the rest of the hood behind over here. Let's flip it the other way real quick. See if we can manipulate the shape a little bit. It's a little bit better. And then what I'll do is I'll duplicate this. I'm going to put it behind. There, and then go ahead and delete all of that. Just kind of fill that in for the back part of the hood. And then behind here as well, where the vest is. Flip it back this way. And then we can kind of bring this here like it's also a part of the hood. Oops, it's on the wrong layer. This layer. There we go, it's got some hood action going on there. Might bring it in just a little bit more. I mean, I do want it to like really break up like the silhouette, but I don't want it to be like so extreme that it takes away from like say his like visibility or his mobility. So bring that down a little bit so I can see. That. Like we still want the cool like shape, but we don't want it to be like too impeding of like what he does. There we go, looks pretty good. And to save us some layers here too, I'm also going to do the cuff over the sleeve. Let's do that here. Just again to break up some more of that blue. Oops, I did it on the wrong layer. You gotta have like rest points for like some of the colors, some of the designs. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna have like there's a kind of like a little strap here that holds up the sleeve when it's rolled up. It'll be like that. And let's get this sleeve over here. There we go. And we want to make sure he still has like some space around the hips for his like silhouette. And on this one, I had like I had the hood kind of go more like that. I don't know if I want to keep that or not. I think that might be okay, actually. Doesn't cover up too much. And it brings it around more, so it looks like it's more in front. I think that's fine. We're going to put a different color on the inside of the hood here too. So let me go ahead and find that. And this is where we can bring the saturation back in. I'm going to use the same red here on the inside of his hood to, like, you know, so all the warm colors will be up here. So let me find the handkerchief color. Now what we can do is just do just a little bit that you can see the inside has like a bit of a different color. So like that. And that'll like help frame it and also give it like some form. And then all of like the saturation and the warm color is up here. So your eyes go straight up here. Not gonna lie, I want to buy me some chips, but I can't drive, and legit all the gas stations and stores are like 30-minute walk from here. I normally walk that only if I'm legit buying groceries or food. I just want chips. And it's probably like an arm and a leg to get somebody to bring it to you, so. Alright, so let's go back to this. And we're going to take our green we had here, but we're going to desaturate it just a little bit because I have it here on this, and I think that looks pretty neat too. And we're going to, when we do our line work, we'll do like a little thing that houses this. But we don't want it as saturated as up there, so it doesn't like distract from where we want it to show up. Try to keep in mind the perspective as much as possible. And then we're going to give him also a little clasp for like right here. And like right here. There we go. Hell yeah. And I think I might do the same thing I did with August here, where he's got like this little strip going around so we can keep their character designs pretty consistent. I think I used this color, so. And again, it'll bring more attention to the face up here, so it'll look neat. I'm gonna put that on a separate layer though. Do like it has a little bit of a cutout in it in different parts. And let's do the same thing on the back part. Again, we're drawing attention here to the face. So it's like almost like a literal line that's going like straight to the face. Like, hey, you know, this is the important part here. I can actually bring that in like that. Then I have that as a little glow on August, so I'll do the same on Val. Do 30. Should I put that above that? Turn the opacity down. Gauge. Five Nights at Freddy, the new movie came out. I saw. Is it any good? The first one was alright. It was kind of meh. I mean, I haven't really played the games. Like, I do get the general idea of them, but oops, I didn't bring this around back here to meet this. So let's do that. Like that. And we'll delete that. Oh, I need the normal part of the layer. Whoops. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to delete this. Do that. I have to adjust. No, that's okay. It's because it's got a little bit of a curve. It's okay. We'll do that. Red light. 30%, and then do a glow dodge. There we go. And do the same thing with this. There we go. Looks pretty good. Oh, Friday Night Funkin'. I've heard of it. I have never played it. Let's see. Let's put some more of these. Get this color again. We're going to put it on here. And down here. And actually we're gonna extend that in a little bit so it clips onto the best part there. All right, nice, nice, nice. And I think we're making pretty good progress here. Gotta put the rear part of the vest down here so it connects behind. There we go. I gotta put some lines over this now. Alright, this is rear vest. Thanks. Well, I'm glad you like it. Well, the thing is like I already had a basic design up here. So now it's just like taking that and pretty much just like refining it and making sure that it, you know, makes sense and all that kind of stuff. So had the idea pretty much like mostly worked out. Makes things a lot easier. Man, I'm getting hungry though. Alright, let's do some line work over top of this. Now that we have it all worked out. And then I believe I gave him I think we're gonna change this up a little bit. They have what's called like a pocket device, which is like a dimensional, like a compressed dimension that they can carry stuff in. So I usually put that like somewhere like on their like wrists or hands, so they can like equip things like really quick to their hands when they need to. It makes it so I don't have to draw like 100,000 like bags and buckles and all sorts of things. And it makes sense because they're in the future. So that's how I'm justifying it. And Havoc came up with like some cool ways to include that into some action sequences. So it's a really neat idea. So we'll just kind of give these some depth. We're gonna have just a little bit of where they're set in here. But I really like I like doing character design this way. Like I think this is a really good workflow for it. Well, it works for me personally. I know a lot of like concept artists will do like they'll do like straight up like silhouette like carving and that kind of thing. But I usually like check like the silhouettes like towards the end that they're reading as like unique and recognizable, along with making sure that the colors and the values don't clash together, that kind of thing. Let's have, gotta make sure we have places for the vest here. Kind of cut off the straps there. Nice. Well, hey, have a good shift. I'm glad you could show up for a little bit. I hope you had a good time. Let's give it some seams here so we get some depth to it. probably bring this in just a little bit here. Yeah, I can bring that part in. You definitely don't have to commit to 100% everything. You want to make sure as you go you're making like adjustments, so you're not just trying to make things make sense when, you know, they just need to be straight up changed in order to do so. So like, don't force things. So I need to adjust behind. Rear vest. Here we go. Adjust this red here. There we go. That fixes that. Ooh, let me get some water. Good call. Thicken some of these lines up in a couple parts here. Kind of have this come like there's another strap part there. Place where the arm goes through. Now we're going to have like kind of like a little bit of a seam here. Give him some more validity to it. Draw through there and then erase away where I need it. That, and we'll put a little bit of like a seam, kind of like separates that. And I'm thinking, since I'm getting really hungry, we might have to do the finishing touches tomorrow, or at least on the front view, which is fine. But I think it's looking really good so far.
Can you shut the door behind me?
What's that? Yeah. Sorry, I had to barricade the kitty in because he's been so bad. is all in the way we know that we could have it all. Some say the lights of pain should now always be ignored. I used to love like Bush so much, like when I was a teenager. I'm like 100% aging myself. That's okay. I am not young. You guys know this. You hang out with an old man here. Ooh, pasta. Nice. Hell yeah. Sounds delicious. Chaser, come inside you, away from strangers, building a system, alleys and motorways. In the way we know that we could have it all. Some said the lights of pain should always be ignored. In the face of what we thought we knew before. Oh, I'm so hungry. I can't wait to eat soup. I am so looking forward to soup. I'm gonna tear it up. Oops, that one came out really. Sometimes I get a little too much pressure going on there. Comes out a little ham-fisted. Vegeta, stop. We used to have like a box in front of the our door because our lock on our door is broken. We haven't been able to fix it yet. Like there's some sort of like issue with the way the door was like put onto our room. So he's like always like escaping and causing trouble. So trying to keep him in there is like biggest pain in the ass. But I put a 30-pound weight there so he can't move it. Nobody on the beach. Living in the air. Sun's out of reach. In the streets, the sun goes down to look. I'm driving down your house. No one know you're not home. I can see you. And I'm seeing you grabbing the sun. The lights is on, baby. I love this song too. It's so good. Just one of those like older songs that's just kind of simple, but it's like a bop. These nights, I wonder if it was a dream. Make me crazy, and then I made you scream. Understand what happened to our love. When I get you back, I know you what I'm made of. Let's get some of the sun. Well, I probably well, I could have put some red on the inside of these, but that might have like distracted too much from everything, so I think it's fine as is. I don't want too much saturation away from the focal point, so we're gonna leave it alone. I really wish my allergies wouldn't kick my ass so I could like actually attempt to sing a little bit more. It's like way too hard right now. Voice gets all cracky and gross. Back, you can never look back. What do I know? Let's turn it this way. No, why? Oh my god. My freaking forearm hit my keyboard and it tried to delete everything. Alright, we're just gonna have to erase away over here. So thickness where it connects. Then have a seam there. And then we should probably put a pocket on these too. So they do have some physical pockets, but they don't really. It's just part of the clothing, really. Like, they could probably still put stuff in them. But the dimensional pocket is what they mostly use. Because they can carry, like, a lot of stuff. Hell yeah. Got that part squared away. So now I mostly just need his pocket device and his boots and his bat. And then he should be all square. Let's go ahead and do our little line work. And then we'll work on this some more tomorrow. Hell yeah, I think that's looking good. I'll have to make a reference sheet that also has both the brothers at once on it. Make sure all the characters like lined up look like they're all part of like the same universe, you know? I think he's looking good so far. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to throw you guys in the lobby here. We can do a little wrap up for today. I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I worked on my Webtoon OCs here. I hope you had fun. I hope maybe you learned something. You know, if you're just here just to talk to me and hang out, I appreciate that too. If you like the kind of content I do, please follow me to see when I go live. If you really like my content, please consider subscribing. That would help me out tremendously. I will be back to work on this again tomorrow. I hope